This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, January 30th, 2018, episode 159. Well, see, there's a reason that you tune in to the live version of Infection. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We're bringing you the latest news, reviews, updates, changelogs, rants, raves. We don't review things. It never. Each and every week, that's what we do here. We are. It is 7:46. And we are starting this program 46 minutes past the hours, they'd say, Brian, in the radio world.
Yes.
A total audio catastrophic meltdown took place about 45 minutes ago. And we've got partial control back, so we're going to do a shorter program tonight. Honest to God, we're quite lucky that we're on the air this evening.
Yep.
We were getting ready to get started. Everything was normal, and then things started getting wacky. Restarted some stuff, then things started disappearing. And this all comes down to a Windows update that I did. It was probably the update for the Meltdown fix. I think that was the last big Windows update that they did, which I did a couple probably last week. And I had some weird audio issues last week, if you'll remember. So that probably is it. The Meltdown has caused Infection, the survival podcast, to have a meltdown of its own. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. InfectionPodcast.com is our website. Hey, Brian. I'm sure you're doing lovely. I'm doing great. I've never been better in my life. How are you?
I am doing just fine.
Oh, that's good.
If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, you can go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Also, make sure you go check out our website where we have links to our Discord group. We have links to our Steam group, we have on there a new page we're putting on there. I don't know if you're going to talk about that, which has links to our different servers that we're hosting, and also for our podcast forums. So perhaps you can't come listen live. You're looking to either watch it on YouTube, or maybe you want to listen to it in your car while you're driving down the road. We have links to whatever kind of podcast app that you'd like to use, and it's all on the right-hand side of our website. So I encourage you to go check it out. And if you haven't, as I always say, come join our Steam group, because we have a lot of fun in there, and we have conversation throughout the whole week. So definitely a place to, if you listen to the show, come out there and hang out and play games with us.
Yep. We've got our page, infectionpodcast.com/servers, that shows all of our game servers. So you can check that out as well. Yep. All right. Let's we got a kind of a short program tonight due to some I've got some stuff for work I've got to do this evening. So I guess we'll just start, Brian. We'll probably be here about an hour.
Yep.
Covering some stuff. The game of the week, we did some tabletop for a second straight week on both Friday and Saturday, and as always had a blast.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. We played a couple new games. I don't remember we played Codenames, I believe, on Friday. That was a lot of fun.
Codenames. Yep. King of Tokyo.
Played that Saturday afternoon, I believe.
Yeah, we played that other, not a spy game, but the kind of like murder mystery game.
Yes, that's something Murder in Hong Kong. We played that. I think it's called Pandemic Murder in Hong Kong. Maybe I'm confusing two games together. Played the classics.
Played some Uno.
I think. We played the classics. Played some Uno. I feel like we played something else too, but I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember what the other thing was.
But it was either way.
We just went through a lot of games.
Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, not Pandemic is another game. It's Deception.
Pandemic is another game.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
I'm not in the mood. So we played a couple of those games Friday and Saturday. Had some great fun. I'm still playing some League of Resistance. We played. Yes, Resistance was the game where you go through and it's kind of like if you ever played Secret Hitler. It's there's people that are the Resistance and there's people that are against the Resistance, and it's social deduction, try to not get caught and found out.
Yep.
So that's we played that, and we had a really good time. As always, Saul being our graceful GM, dealing with everybody's nonsense. A couple of people that
Yep.
play the games in interesting fashion. Uh, so we did that. We did that Friday, Saturday. It was good. But this week, Brian, you picked the week that I'm not going to be around to play the game that I wanted to play. So what are we playing? Or, excuse me, Brian. What are you going to be playing this week?
All right, so we'll be playing some Rust. And so what I've done is I've set up a private server for us. And it has a static map and then it has a random generation. So I think I stick it for random generation. So, but I put it for the maximum map size since we're going to kind of be probably wanting to explore. And I mean, people will play the snot out of it for a little while, I'm sure. So I made the map as big as possible, but I set up a new server for it. So we'll have that ready to go. And then we can actually just play the game and check it out, figure out how it works and not have naked people coming and killing us every 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that'll be Friday night at 7:00 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make it, if you have Rust, make sure that you go and have it all ready to go and jump into our Discord and join us. And we'll be having a link that gets you into the server and we can do invites. I'm sure it should populate in the list, but if it doesn't, we'll have a link in Discord that allows you to click and join the server. And I'll be keeping it up after that, as long as it stays used.
Absolutely. And going forward, we've got our Minecraft server up, a couple ARK servers, and all that stuff's up and ready to go. Just hop in Discord and there's links and ways to connect to do all that stuff. So that's a way to do it. That's what you can do. So Rust Friday night. Be prepared, I guess, for Rust. It's a big game. It's like 40 or 50 gigs. So have that installed and you can play. It'll be a good time. So enjoy, Brian.
Yes, we will. And it'll be up Saturday when you get back.
I'm not going to be up.
Right?
No, I will not be back Saturday. Saturday's my birthday.
Okay.
So I will not be.
So you're having a weekend bender.
Yes.
Nick will have resumed consciousness Sunday night, maybe Monday morning.
I'm not working Monday, so Tuesday.
Oh, so okay. So Tuesday morning, Nick will be regaining consciousness just in time for the next show.
Well, actually, I'll be up in Raleigh, so I'm going to have to drive back down Tuesday during the day, which means I'll just have plenty of time to troubleshoot all these audio issues I've been having. It's just going to be fantastic. Everything's going great. All right, let's jump into some news here with the sparing time that we have. We've got trying to find my lower thirds, some good old Battlegrounds news, and there's some pretty big things in these couple of patches here. So this update was done on the 23rd. This came out after the show last Tuesday. I think we talked about some of this stuff. So I believe at the last show where they were talking about a big test update, and they're continuing with that. So a couple things they did here, improving server and client performance by adjusting the visible distance while the characters are in the air. In the current patch, they are spreading out pre-match starting locations. So the spawn area, that little like concrete jungle thing that you're in, that is going to it's going to have multiple spawn nodes so that not all 100 people are spawning at the exact same latitude and longitude, which of course is causing issues. As they're saying, it was putting an immense amount of load on the server and the client. Another modification is the airplane. And they'll have more details on that soon, as well as some new security/anti-cheat measures that are under development. But they want to start gathering data, and we always talk about this, and this is super important with this. They're talking about the new anti-cheat, saying some PCs may experience compatibility issues during this test, which may cause crashes while starting the game. If this happens to you, please take a screenshot, and they have a link to send it. This is why you need to play test servers. Specifically when they say something like this, which is, we might have compatibility, so you've got to be able to hop in the test server and give it a try. Obviously, they're going to try to make everything as stable as possible before going to live. That's obviously their goal with that. All right, gameplay-wise, a couple of things in here. Introduced multiple pre-match spawn areas. Obviously, we talked about that. Removed weapons on the starting island before match start. Again, this is them trying to deal with performance, server load in the spawn area. You got to remember there are, at some points, 3 plus million people playing this game. So,
well, and a lot of that has to do with those bullets. I'm wondering, because the thing is they stick some things in there because they want to make sure they spawn in. They want to render them. So, I mean, the whole point of having this start area is so that all the characters are rendered in. So it doesn't have them start to render in. You know, maybe they come around a corner and all of a sudden they start to render in. Like it knows at the beginning, knows about every character. And I'm wondering if, because this, for instance, guns are a spawned in thing. I wonder if that was partly why they had them there, so that to make sure everything spawned in correctly.
Well, they may still,
and that you could see them.
They may still be there. They may just be like kind of hidden under
they
a
may
rock
have a box
or something.
hidden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's probably the way around it. But there's just no reason for the server to have the load of 1,000 people shooting shotguns and throwing grenades, and it's just useless server performance need, and client side too. So
it was more annoying too. I mean, they should mute all audio there.
Yeah,
not allow people to yell and scream. And just,
see,
because one problem, professional streamers, that's a big problem for them.
Yeah,
they can't go and unmute because people are yelling racial things and just whatever horrible thing they can think of in that area. And you can get in trouble as a streamer for broadcasting some of those things across your Twitch channel. So
all the good things that you would expect from the internet being yelled in a pregame lobby.
Yep.
So we got that language. They added new Russian, Japanese, and Chinese, and the Chinese is simplified / traditional fonts. And then they fixed a bug where players are able to side jump from prone, which of course
slide jump from prone.
That's an issue. Being able to jump from prone, sliding from prone, jumping from prone is not a thing you do. You can go prone, but shouldn't be able to jump from that position. So that has been fixed. Moving on to a patch. Where's my mouse? There it is. That would be great. My mouse just disconnects too. It'd be a great show. This is update 4. This was released today, and there's a couple of things in this one as well. Again, talking about if you're experiencing crashes, report it. They've got a report form, and the links, of course, for all this stuff will be on our website, infectionpodcast.com. A couple of things in here. The Myanmar improvements, added more buildings and cover across the map to improve the engagement experience. That was the big thing that I was talking about. They've just decided that they can just add buildings to the map, which is fantastic. This is something that H1Z1 I wish could do more dynamically. Just say, hey, we've got a couple areas that we're not happy with. They just add them. They just add more buildings and add more cover across the map. So now when you're driving, well,
H1Z1 could, they just don't.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, they for some reason, they act like it's such a big deal. And it may be a lot more difficult under their engine and with their tools to actually do this stuff. But with Unreal Engine, this is something that they can do fairly easily, quickly, and can get it published. And it's going to be consistent. But this is something where Daybreak has always made such a big deal about adding buildings and adding stuff down on the map. You know, and once they set them, they don't seem to really touch them for months and months and months, if ever. I mean, they're finally starting to touch stuff that was on the original map.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's not just the maps, not just adding objects on top of the map. They've added more off-road routes for easy vehicle navigation. So now when you're Myanmar, of course, is the desert. They've got a picture here for anybody that hasn't played the game. This is what Myanmar looks like. Imagine Red Dead Redemption landscape. That's Myanmar. It's just nothingness. It's the desert, rock formations, hills, stuff like that. So they've added new buildings because it is kind of a barren wasteland, and then added some new tracks because driving wasn't necessarily the easiest thing on there either. So added a couple of those two things, and then they upgraded the item spawn level of certain areas for loot bouncing. So now some areas will spawn better loot. The replay system has been updated. I would imagine this has something to do with all of the replays before not having any recoil, which would kind of have people just make false reports, I guess. Not purposely false, but you see somebody shooting without recoil, it looks like they're shooting a laser, you're going to report them. So I would imagine that's what this is. It doesn't say that. But the thing is that past replay files cannot be played. So hopefully you saved all your screenshots, as in you recorded them for local use. A couple quick bug fixes here.
I wonder what format it's keeping them in to where it wouldn't be compatible anymore. That's kind of strange.
Whatever issue was probably causing the recoil thing was probably something that they had to. I don't know what they had. You make a good point though.
Being that you can fly around, it's got to be doing something special. Like it's actually keeping track of a lot of data. It's just not recording a video of that last thing. Like it's actually keeping track of a lot of statistics. It's probably added some extra information. It probably wasn't tracking the recoil or it wasn't tracking the recoil or, whatever the gun was doing. It wasn't tracking that. They added it. And now it's saying, oh, well, it doesn't have all the inputs I need. If you try to play an old file, it probably says I need more information. So, I mean, rather than them trying to hack it together, they probably just figured, well, we'll just go from here on out.
Yeah. So that's fixed. Hopefully that'll be heading in the right direction. Couple quick bug fixes here. Fixed an issue where heal and boost items could be used underwater, which is not the issue. You can't do anything underwater besides swim. Can't shoot. Nothing happens. You can't do anything underwater, which is as it should be. Fixed an issue where characters would get stuck in certain areas of Myanmar. Obviously, new map. Fixed issues where wall textures on some Myanmar buildings were not being displayed properly. I believe we saw a couple of these when we were playing. And then fixed an issue where certain buildings near, what is that, Hachinda?
Hacienda del Petron.
Whatever. We're not displaying correctly. So a couple of texture, graphical issues that they fixed. Myanmar's only 2 months old, month and a half old.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And it came out pretty, I mean, they've been working on it for a while, but
yeah,
a lot of those things you don't notice. I mean, you'd have people running, a million people running around the map are going to notice all these problems pretty quickly. And so as long as they had a way for people to actually report and to say, hey, this isn't right, that's a lot faster than them just sitting there and looking around like, okay, what did we miss?
Yeah.
So absolutely. I think that, they're going in and figuring out, getting lists of what did we miss or what's wrong and just fixing them over the next couple months.
And obviously, they're going to continue to work and get all that stuff figured out. So that's PUBG for the PC. Now, they do have a note here for the Xbox. This is Xbox Game Preview patch number 7. They're saying that they've served chicken dinners to over 4 million players on the Xbox.
That's over 4 million matches.
I think that's what that means.
That's what they're getting.
You could read that a couple different ways. Either way, there's an immense amount of people playing on Xbox. Not a surprise. A couple of gameplay things that they've done here: increased damage to vehicle body and sufficient damage to the wheels when targeted with gunfire. And significant damage to the wheels when targeted with gunfire. Increased vehicle damage when successfully targeted with a grenade. Both the driver and the passenger will suffer increased injury from crashing into an object or another vehicle. Either the DC, UAZ, or the buggy. Slight reduction to player damage when being struck by a vehicle. A couple of optimization things. Still dealing with some controller input lag, though they're optimizing that as best as they can. And then the visual quality of the reticle is improved for the Xbox One. That would be the red dot holographic sight and the 2X sight. And then a couple of quick bug fixes. Resolved an issue where the inventory may highlight the wrong column when looting. Sensitivity setting for the 4X scope is now applied to the permanent scope of the VSS. The auto run, there was an issue with auto run. Double clicking the left stick is disabled when aiming down the sight, so you can't run and be aimed. And then just a couple of other things for the Xbox players. So if you're playing this on the Xbox, let us know. You can go check out the patch notes, infectionpodcast.com. I still have not had a chance to play it on there now. And there is this image. I don't know if this is the Xbox version. It doesn't look as great as the PC version. It could. I'm not sure exactly. It doesn't look bad. I'm not saying it looks bad. And notice the motion blur. A lot of motion blur, which they don't typically. Which they can.
I'm not a fan of motion blur.
On a high-end PC, you can have the motion blur is pretty. You can kind of turn it off, and it's not really a huge deal. But on the Xbox, they do that to blend things a little bit better, blending pixels a little bit better. That's what motion blur is. It's the smearing of pixels. So that I think this is an Xbox screenshot. I hope it is. So
I'm pretty sure it is.
That is PUBG.
Very good. Hey, do we want to start let's do one giveaway.
Okay.
And then we'll start it now and give people over the whole amount of the show.
Yep. About 25 minutes or so.
We started
left.
late, the light audience.
Yep.
We'll just give them the whole amount of time and whoever wants to enter. So, all right. So we're going to do a 30 points raffle.
Okay.
And if you want to enter, this is going to be for another copy of Rust. So Rust is the game we're going to be playing for our Friday night game night. We're going to be having a server that is up all the time for it. So if you are interested, exclamation point giveaway. And this is a game that we talk about almost every week, but we haven't had a big chance to play it a lot. So I'm really looking forward. We see all these things, especially in those videos from Shadowfrax. I see all this stuff. I'm like, I've never seen any, like I've run around Rust some, never seen any of that stuff.
No.
Maybe I saw like a few, like a tower of something from a long distance away, but I just constantly die. I feel like I never get more than 50 yards from wherever we start. We just run and see what the map looks like and check it out. So exclamation point giveaway, and we will be giving away that copy of Rust.
Lost your audio there for a second, but I think it was a network issue. But what did you say in the middle of your sentence there? You're talking about Shadowfrax not seeing the things.
Yeah, just saying that there's a lot of things I've seen as videos that we've never seen them in the game.
Yeah.
So that'll be something that'll be fun for us to to go and explore.
I hope you have a great time Friday night, Brian.
Okay. Well, Saturday, Tuesday, whenever you can come join us.
I'm not going to be joining in the middle of the week, but nevertheless, in all seriousness, I hope everybody does have a good time Friday night, because I think most of the people in our community that haven't really played a whole lot of Rust, this will be a chance to play with a smaller group of people where you don't have to deal with the craziness of a typical public server. So that's PUBG exclamation point giveaway in chat to enter that, and we will draw that here in probably about 20 minutes or so. All right.
Hey, let's jump to ARK, because there's a big there's an upcoming thing that they put in.
Okay.
Because remember last week we said, well, there was no updates this week.
There was not, for the first time in a very long time.
And we were wondering, okay, well, is this a sign of things to come? And they kind of answered that.
Okay.
And said, hey, wait a minute. There's more coming. So their patch this week, they did do only one patch this week, and it was on the 26th. They fixed a client rendering crash associated with certain mod maps. They fixed an under meshing exploit, which requires a server restart. They fixed cross arc transferring issue, which allowed people to wear broken zero durability armor. And that also requires a server update. And that was 276.43. Now, what they did is they put in some notes for 277, which is going to be coming up. And they actually put an exact date. Sometimes they're a day late. It's how they are. But they're calling this the Dino TLC Phase 2 preview. And what they're doing is they're improving, and they did this before. They improved, I think it was like that kangaroo looking one. There's just a couple that they improved, but this is going to be February 18th. So the week of February 18th, which is going to be probably during they probably are doing it to where maybe when the the Valentine's Day patch ends.
Yeah.
Usually they do a special through Valentine's Day, and then they do another patch that stops it. So I'm assuming that on that turn off patch, they'll probably be turning this on. Now on here, you can see there's just a lot of different pictures of these different dinos that they're going to be improving, especially with the birds. I mean, if you look at
it's incredible.
The Argentavis they put a lot more detail into them.
Yeah, they look they don't look real. I mean, it's incredible how well this looks.
Yep, they look a lot better. Same thing with the Spinosaur. They went through and they put in a lot more detail on it. Just to make it look, I guess, more realistic, look better.
Yeah, even its scales, like it's got, I mean, you can see the individual, like each individual, I guess, I don't know what it's called, all the little individual dots on the dinosaur.
Yep.
That give it that, like, kind of rough texture. It's impressive.
Yep.
I mean, should we be surprised here? I mean, ARK's always been such a aesthetically pleasing game. This seems like more just par for the course with them.
Yep. And then what they'll be doing on here is another thing is that Bigfoot one, they're going to be doing TLC to that, so that should be getting better. The Procoptodon is going to be getting an improvement. The dire bear, the dire wolf, the Rex, will also be getting an improvement. So you should see maybe better animations, better models for those. So they should be a lot better looking when you get in there. Also, they're going to go through and they're going to be doing creature specific bug fixes and balance updates. So a lot of the different like Parasers, Brontos, Donkeys, just a lot of those different things are going to be getting adjustments to some of them, their HP. Some of them maybe is the HP gain per level, their base HP, and then also some things are getting damage changes. They're also adding a creative mode building. So they're going to have it to where you can actually go in there and set a server to be a creative mode, kind of like Minecraft in a way, and have it to where people have the ability to get a lot of building supplies and just to build stuff for fun. They have an option there to disable fog. So that's the map fog. So if you just want to have it where people can see the whole map right away, they have an option to do that. Also, they're having a thing that will scan your Steam achievements and update your local profile accordingly to restore all your lost skins and hairstyles. So if it's something that you actually have, but for some reason your computer's not realizing that you have those, it's going to scan your Steam achievements list and then award you the proper skins and hairstyles that you can have.
Nice.
Also, they're just doing a lot of little fixes. For instance, when you respawn, your player respawns, you're not targetable by wild AI right away, so that you don't die before you even spawn in, which was always a problem.
We've all been there many of times.
Yep. Yes. And so another thing they're going to be doing is having an option to use last pin code so players can quickly access secured structures without having to enter the code every single time. If you're using a code to enter it, it'll use the last one. You can just click that and get in quickly. They have a thing that you can add now a server option to make supply crates random. So you can have it, those airdrops can be truly random and not, I guess that kind of takes away maybe the leveling, the purple versus the white, and just make it to where they're random across the board. And as far what you get is totally random. They're also having an option to enable NVIDIA Ansel on servers. So you can take those. I don't know how that's going to change it. Perhaps it makes it so that everybody connects has Ansel enabled, like the ability to do Ansel enabled. So, and then after that, it's mostly fixes. So, if you've had some little issues, you can go check through these notes. Also, they have an option now to hide learned engrams. So the list of engrams, you only can, they have it to where you can just see the ones that you still need to earn if you don't really care about the past ones.
Gotcha.
And they're doing a sale that just ended. So they did one that ended yesterday. So hopefully if you didn't have ARK, you have purchased it by now. I'd be surprised that there are very many people that don't quite have it yet. So, and then they'll be doing on, let's see. Yeah, and then the same thing. They were doing Monday, the 29th of January at 3 p.m. Of January at 3 p.m. So yeah, that ended. They were doing a double harvest, double taming, double experience, which they'll probably do again for Valentine's Day. It seems like for any kind of holiday, they always do something special, and they do have special things they do on Valentine's Day for this. So you may, if you're playing on an official server, you may see that double XP happen then as well.
And if not Valentine's Day, Easter, which is super early this year, April 1st.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be good.
Very good. So I think that covers
now
all of our ARK news.
We've got an H1Z1 update, and it's a big update. I don't want to skip past it, but I think we've got some other stuff that we want to get into today. So we will come back to that next week. It's only a day old. It's not super old. So this is a test server update, a pretty significant test server update for H1Z1, and I do want to give it its justice, as we do with the one time that there's big H1Z1 news, we just skip over it. I don't necessarily want to do that.
Yep. So you're wanting to cover this one next week?
Yeah, we'll cover the big.
It'll probably be on live then, so it'll probably be us covering the live version, I would assume.
Yes, and if not, we'll cover that update. But so there was a big H1Z1 update. We will cover that now. We'll still talk about H1Z1. I just saw this, Brian, as we were, I'll bash him a little bit. As I'm scrolling through Twitter, while we're doing this show, scrolling. I've got TweetDeck open, and I've got all of our Twitter feeds, and from an H1Z1 developer at game_dev_Cardo. Completely unrelated to at H1Z1, but the combat team got into an argument while going over the crouch fatigue tuning values. So they need some help, and they posted a straw poll to what is the best Girl Scout cookie ever. And a couple options: Thin Mints, Tagalongs, the s'mores.
So this is what they're talking about in their meetings?
Samoa, yeah. So
this is the biggest conflict that they can come up with when discussing the game. Obviously they have nothing. They must be drinking at that kegerator enough to where.
And then Lenny quote tweeted it and said, "Very important." Now, I'm all for having fun, but like, the game is in shambles. What are they doing? I mean, what are they doing?
They're wasting their time in meetings.
Now, it doesn't say that they're talking about that, but I mean, you have to admit that here's the thing. Somebody took their time to make the straw poll, and they go, "Oh, it'd be a great idea to tweet that out, man."
Yeah, because they probably spent a half an hour arguing about the best Girl Scout cookie on the job.
And I mean, I'll just tell
you. If you guys could buy some more skins, because they need to pay those developers still. So if you just
I think it's no contest that tagalongs are the best. I mean, I'm not going to get into it with you, Brian.
What are the I like the mint ones.
You're a joke.
That's the only one I eat. I don't need any.
That's fine. I don't
what
know.
are the tagalongs? What's in those?
Tagalongs are the peanut butter ones. What are you?
But see, my wife's allergic to peanut butter.
So am I,
but
I still eat them.
Peanut butter, like, she won't kiss me. Yeah, well, no, she's like definitely.
That's TMI. Well, actually, if I look at this, Thin Mints are actually winning. They've got 97 votes for Thin Mints. 66 for Samoas, Tagalongs 32, S'mores 25, and then some other ones that nobody cares about. 246 people wasted their time on that poll, including me, who voted for Tagalongs.
There you go.
I am.
Thank you very much.
I'm the problem.
You are part of the problem.
In all seriousness, I wanted to bring up H1Z1. This was a kind of a satire, funny way to do it. But we will get to their big update next week, because there is a whole bunch of really cool stuff in there. But it's
all in the test server, and we'll be repeating it next week if they release to live anyways. So
now, Brian,
having to figure out what they changed.
We've got a game that we have talked about a whole bunch. It is the favorite game of one person in our Discord community, and that is our boy Firebomb. We've got some F-13 news, Brian, and this is some big stuff. Yes. They've been silent. They have been practically MIA for 2 months, since Christmas, actually, probably since around Christmas. They haven't before Christmas, maybe so about a month and a half. They've been totally MIA. But we have a pretty big update here, Brian. Yes. So this is
the Jason part 5. So if you follow F-13 at all, you'll be like, oh, that's this episode and whatever.
That's episode 5.
Yeah, I mean episode 5. And Pinehurst is the map that they added to this. So, and you can play this multiplayer or offline bots. I mean, I'm sure people that are really into the show just do offline bots and put them on the easiest, just so they can go run around and look at stuff and pretend they're in that world.
Well, in all seriousness, I mean, for the people that we saw at PAX that were super into this, they're just into it because there hasn't been any F-13 content, like old school stuff, since like the 90s. I mean that's the reality of it. There's no such thing as F-13 is not a thing that's being actively developed. So,
well, and I'm sure they have conflicts on that. Oh, that one wasn't really a true F-13. I mean, I'm sure there's
but that's
probably have some internal conflict, but.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm kind of in the
I'm
kind of in that similar community. We talked about this post show last week with my Sega Dreamcast, Brian. It's kind of the same thing. There's these new games that are being revitalized, and it's for those people, not for me, because I didn't.
Gaming on an emulator and connecting directly to the internet without having a modem converter is not real Dreamcast gaming.
Yeah, unless you've got one of these to play the Dreamcast and a USB dial-up modem, you're not playing. You're not living the life. Yep. So, but in all seriousness, all these little communities have their own little sects, and the Dream Pie community, which is what I'm talking about, is huge. Oh, not huge. I'm sorry. Let me restate that. It's not. It's like 10 people. Nevertheless, they're very passionate about what they do. They're incredibly passionate about what they. It's more than 10, but they're very, very passionate about what they do, and it's kind of the same thing with the F-13 people, I would assume.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of people that have wanted new F-13 content, and this is it. This is their new content per se. And as I look, there are 6 people playing games on the Dreamcast right now. So yeah, pretty big community.
A total of 6?
A total of 6 players online out of 248.
Thriving.
There's 248 members in the community. 6 of them are currently playing. So
nice.
There you go. Check it out. They're all playing Phantasy Star Online. I don't know if you ever played that.
Oh, they're playing together?
Yes. Yeah, they're playing online. Playing some Phantasy Star. Nevertheless, back to F-13. So in all seriousness, you're joking around that these people are running around in game playing by themselves, but some of them probably are. So the Jason Part 5 is here. He looks pretty legit. Obviously, you can see the new map, Pinehurst, and some of his skills here. So with new Jason, kills. He has no level requirement, which is good. That meaning that anybody's free to play him. Some of the other Jasons have level requirements. And his following grab kills are the Hedge Trimmer, the Last Breath, and You're So Vain, which would be cool if the song played.
Now, vain is spelled like the blood, things that carry your blood in your body, not like being conceited.
Yes, they should still.
That has something to do with.
They should still play
what he does.
The song.
Well, and I saw that Hedge Trimmer kill. Like he chops off the person's head. Like I think he. He stabs him with it a few times, and then he just chops their head off. I don't remember if he cuts their arms off and then cuts their head off, but it's pretty disgusting.
I'll give him that. If you remember, Brian, when we saw the release trailer at PAX, people, I mean, it was we actually were playing Mortal Kombat the night before or something like that, and I've played Mortal Kombat. The kills are, you were literally ripped the spine out of somebody's back, and it's a close up. I mean, you can see each individual part of the spine ripping out, and then we go and see this Friday the 13th thing, and it's the same thing. I mean, you skull crushing, just real gruesome stuff, which is cool because it fits the grunginess, the hardcore of this game. You know, they're not going to get away with PC in this game. That's not the community. That's not the people that play this. We saw those people, and that's not what they're interested in. And the 8-year-old that was.
Well, and they have that new cabin, Virtual Cabin 2.0, which is. I mean, it's got all that lore stuff. They're totally catering to the correct community on that. So
there you go.
That is good for them.
They've got a grab kill for the grab kill rugby player is now available. The requirements are you must be level 108, it's pretty high, and the cost is 2,500 CP. There's some fixes in here, just a couple of general things. Reduce the amount of pocket knives and medical sprays that can spawn per match. Some could argue those are a little OP. Adjusted the amount of available spawns per match for each weapon. I don't know how I feel about that. I think the weapons are already sparse enough. Addressed several issues that were causing players to become locked. Fixed a bug that would cause bear traps to disappear when being disarmed by a counselor. Fixed a bug that would fixed a bug related to the final chapter achievement that was causing players to crash. Some Jason changes, some counselor changes, some map changes, a couple of other stuff, a couple of other things as well. Jason's speed slightly increased, his grab range slightly increased, which I don't know how they're going to get away with that. I thought his grab range was already a little much. Yeah. So now that he's faster and has a little bit further of a grab, I see that potentially being a balance
the number
issue.
Of weapons in the map.
Yeah, I already.
They're trying to make him feel epic. I think
he already did feel epic. I mean, here's the thing: Brian and I are not pros on. Brian and I are not pros in the game. We obviously have not played it recently, but from when we did play, Jason was already OP, so I don't see how. Yeah. I don't see how this is going to make him any less OP. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
one thing that is going to make Joe happy is they added some servers to Australia and South America.
Oh, cool.
So Joe can sit here and play that game all day. Another thing they did is they added region auto detection. So depending on what region you're in, it'll detect and put you probably on the closest set of servers for you. I don't know if they do that based on actual geo IP location, or maybe they're doing kind of a ping thing. I think either way would work. I'd almost prefer that they just say, hey, let's ping the servers and we'll put you on the lowest ping server. But they may be just saying, all right, you're in Asia, you're going to go here.
Now, Firebomb is correcting us, saying that they nerfed his grab range in November, so they're bringing it back to where it was.
Okay, so we wouldn't have played it since they nerfed it. So it's going back to where we saw it at.
Close,
so that's why we
in the ballpark. Yeah. So that'll be good. I still think it may have been a little OP, but you could get away with how it was before. It wasn't impossible to win.
I'm tempted to launch the game and take a look at the virtual cabin just to see what they did and how well they did it.
Well,
because I mean, it looked cool. For the screenshots look cool, but I don't think, as I said, I don't think I'll appreciate it as much as someone like Firebomb going, because I'll be like, oh, look at that. That's something. It's not like, oh, that was in this episode and it was in this scene, and I'll have no idea. So for me, I'll just be walking around a little cabin, and but they do have interactive things where it will tell you like, hey, this is from this place, and it'd be a good educational tool if you haven't watched a lot of F-13.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. If you're an F-13 fan, or maybe you just have the games, I know a lot of people do. A lot of people purchased it. Go ahead and if you want, reinstall, and you can go ahead and play that. And if you do so, let us know. You can tweet us at InfectionCast and let us know. Speaking of tweeting us at InfectionCast, our good buddy X-Vibe tweeted us about Sea of Thieves. When we were getting asked a whole bunch about Sea of Thieves. I have not played it. Brian has not played it. It's one of those games that is so... Everybody's playing it right now. I don't know what we can add to the conversation particularly.
Yeah.
It's a $60 title. I'm not going to buy it. If they reach out to us and give us a key, I'll play it, but I'm not going to go out of my way. If you want to know about Sea of Thieves, there's a million other people that are doing that. And that may sound a little odd. But literally at one point everybody on Twitch was playing Sea of Thieves. So all the big guys, all those people were playing it. So I don't know what we have to add to that. Who knows? Maybe come in the future, we'll have an opportunity to play it. But he says it's a little pricey. Played around 20 hours or so, and he says it's amazing. It looked very pretty. We saw it at E3 last year. I even commented on this show about how amazing it looked. It still does look amazing. The water physics look unbelievable. Which it may sound stupid, but to render out individual white caps and stuff like that is quite impressive. Water, I mean, I'm no game developer, but water mechanics and water physics are, I believe, some of the hardest things to do because of the amount of power it takes. I mean, you just think about going out in the middle of the ocean on a boat.
Even the same thing with grass. And those things that have a lot of vertices, the things that have a lot of detail to them. So, I mean, if you go look at grass in a game, like that's a lot of edges. Unless you go to a game, I mean, you see some, I think 7 Days to Die is like this, to where it's like a picture of grass. Like there's no lift to it. And then you go over to it and you're like, oh, that doesn't look real at all. Then you see these games that are rendering realistic grass. We got to think each one of those, there's just so much detail to them. Well, looking at that water, there's a lot of processing that's happening and detail that's happening to make it look realistic like that. And so if they can get it to where it's really efficient, that's great.
Our buddy Sarah's saying, and I did know this, but I'm inquiring about this being out on... This actually is out on Game Pass, which is the first time that they've brought a brand new title to Game Pass right away.
Game Pass.
That's Microsoft's Game Pass. I've got a code for Game Pass, a 6-month subscription for Game Pass that I just have to redeem. So
this doesn't have PS4, correct? This is Xbox.
No, Microsoft pretty much owns
Windows.
the game. So it launches in March.
So I think weren't they using their?
It's their Microsoft invested.
Is this the water technology
Yes.
that they transferred over to PUBG? It's,
yes, this is it. This is the water that Microsoft spent in. I don't know the numbers. Probably hundreds of thousands of dollars developing and working on. I mean, they made it a steeple of their thing that this is like we invest all of this into making the water look like real water.
But it opens up a whole new realm of video games.
It absolutely does.
You'd be surprised that a lot of video game developers are like, well, we can't have a game that's truly on the ocean and looks realistic the same way that we can make grass and we can make a landscape and a city look realistic, especially on consoles, because there's just such a limit to here's what you have to work with. Now make the best that you can in those parameters. It has to go to here, but it can't go over because we'll start cutting stuff out. So they were able to get it to where the ocean looks good. And this is probably kind of their test. I mean, this game was probably like, all right, we got it. Let's make a game that's on the ocean now and see how it looks. And not just a cutscene on the ocean. I mean, you'll see ones where, there's a ship maybe coming into the harbor, but you're not out on the ocean truly. Yeah. This kind of opens up a whole new realm of really cool things that I think, you remember Waterworld? Did you ever see the old 90s film Waterworld with Kevin Costner?
No.
So it's like post-apocalyptic where, of course, global warming, the oceans has risen and everybody's pretty much out on the ocean and like they'd never see land. Like everybody's living on these old boats. And so you could do a video game in that sort of realm. That's kind of, what was that? Our favorite game that we
Hide and Hold Out. H2O.
Hide and Hold Out. It was pretty much Waterworld for a video game. So this will make it so they can do some cool things.
Yeah, I mean, in all, obviously we're joking about how water and so it's over, but in all seriousness, it really is an immense amount of R&D that went into this. Microsoft made a huge deal about it at E3 how much they'd invested into, or how much they were going to invest into making this be the forefront. It sounds stupid to say the forefront of water games. But really in reality, once they've got this platform, they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want.
And look, they're bringing in companies like they probably were able to coax in like PUBG, for instance, to say, hey, we'll give you this technology to be able to use in your game, which will possibly open up. I mean, who knows where they may want to go. And imagine if they did one where I don't know any inside knowledge. I'm just flowing.
I don't know about that, but all right.
Imagine if they had one where it was a bunch of islands and you can land on different islands, but then you have to get on boats and you have to work your way to whatever island's going to be like in zones, and you have to work your way. You're not just driving around, like you're having to island hop to be able to, and maybe with less players per server. I mean, imagine that would be a whole different type of map with a whole different type of feel. And if you wait too long and like there's too many people that land on one island, you don't have enough boats to get off.
No Man's Sky.
Like how long do you stay?
Water. I mean, you could. Honestly, the ideas are endless for what they could do. And now, will they? I'm not sure. I don't know what the market is. But nevertheless, some more information here on Game Pass from Sirth. All Microsoft first-party titles will be part of Game Pass. So in March, when this comes
PUBG?
out. No, I don't think that's a first party
title.
No, because Microsoft doesn't own PUBG. They own Rare.
Oh, okay.
So no, they would.
What do they mean by first party?
First party is Microsoft. First party develop, like Nintendo is
so
first
if they
party.
are owner of the
like all of the like
okay.
Mario and all those are first party games because Nintendo owns them and develops them, or owns the companies that develop them. So that'll be cool. When that comes out in March, then I will. They don't own PUBG yet. Yeah. When that comes out, I'll. That's in March, so that month and a half from now. I will. I'll get that.
Like Halo 3, so that means you'll get Halo 3. You'll get.
I mean, I have Halo. I've got all those games anyway.
Titles.
But yeah, I'll do it to play not hide and hold out to play Sea of Thieves. Because I've got.
I know you want that game.
No, I don't really care. So yeah, I'll get that when that comes out. So there you go. Got some Game Pass. Thanks. And you know why I have Game Pass, Brian? thanks to Bing search rewards. And
Nice.
tip of the week, use
You're
Bing.
using that Bing.
Sign up for a Microsoft account, which you can use a Google account to sign up for, and use Bing search rewards. I have 3 years worth of Xbox Live memberships paid for, and I've got 6 months of Game Pass. I could do 3 or 4 years of Game Pass if I wanted to. I've got all these points. I have hundreds of thousands
all right,
of points.
So one thing, State of Decay 2 will be on that.
Excellent. Then I'll be playing that as well.
So so that'll be on there. The Dead Islands are on there. Trying to think what else. Now Mad Max, which you didn't like,
nope, I have it on
is
PC.
on there. Dead Rising 2, I think.
I have
Dead
Dead Rising 3, which was the launch exclusive for
Maybe
the
it's
Xbox.
3.
Yeah, that was the launch exclusive for the Xbox.
Okay.
That was the only game I could get.
So I mean, they'll have a decent number of titles on there.
Who uses
cool.
Bing? I need
Gears of War.
Yeah, it's called the Bing rewards, Bing search rewards. Crackdown 3, that'll be fantastic. I love Crackdown. Crackdown is one of my favorite game series, and they dropped off the face of the universe.
I never played it, but that was always on Xboxes.
Yeah, that's a great Xbox game. So yeah, Bing search rewards, free Xbox Live, free Game Pass, saves me $60 probably now, going on probably $100 a year with Game Pass. So check it out. Not a sponsor, but I mean, the results are just as good as Google's. And that's so funny when I need to search something actually like a real search that's complicated. I just open Google. But for regular searches, like searching for Friday the 13th form, which is what I did before the show, it came right up, form.f13game.com. And
we don't have a lot of time, so I have one. Let's not go off on this, but I have a frustration, because I know we could talk about this for an hour and we're not going to.
Can you tease
I have a frustration when I search for something on Google.
Oh my God, this is not what we're getting into, is it?
But I go to Facebook, and then it's offering me an ad of something that I search for specifically, or on Amazon. I go to Amazon, it does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It frustrates me so much. It should be none of their business. They should not be looking at my cookies. They should not be sharing my search results.
Brian, you gave this up years ago. It's too late now to look in the review.
It frustrates me.
Yeah, it's frustrating all you want, but I'm seeing all this now. Like, I don't want my Amazon's listening in on me. Doesn't matter. You gave up years ago. You've had this freaking thing in your pocket.
Laura had this happen to her.
Yeah,
Laura was saying something. She was singing a song to the pigs, right? She was singing a song to the pigs, and then she said, "Alexa, play me some music." And you want to know what it did? It started playing that song.
Yeah.
That is an issue.
It's not an
issue.
But you put that thing in your house. You're the you are the problem.
But it shouldn't be listening. It shouldn't be collecting statistics on everything that we're doing.
It is listening to a pin drop in your house. It is listening to listening to me right now do the podcast. It's my backup recording. Contact the NSA, and if I need to get the recording of the show. We could talk about it, but that just frustrates me to no end. I feel like we're just losing every sense of privacy. But you gave it up years ago. You went second that you put this thing in your pocket with GPS and data back in 2008, 2010, 2007, whenever you got a smartphone, you gave it up. It's been 5-10 years since then. It's gone.
Well, and that's the thing is, I always explain to people, I ask them, why does Google have an operating system for a phone? And most people don't connect the dots on it. The only reason Google put out Android is not because they want to help the phone community be open or whatever, they may spin it as. It's because they give you a phone that you don't have the ability to put an ad blocker on, because they found on PCs, they can't control the PCs. And so ad blockers go on browsers, which they have Chrome, but PCs, everybody's using ad block. Nobody's using ad block on a phone. No,
it's very hard to use. Why?
It. Because Google owns the operating system that most of those people are using. And the same thing, I bet you Apple would get major hassle from the people that make apps and different things that rely on ads if they allowed a way for you to block it. So they control those so that they can advertise you. That's the only reason it's there. If you had a true open phone with an open operating system, you could block ads. Show me a phone you can block ads on. There's not a single one.
You good?
So that's my rant of the day. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Let's do one more story, then we got to wrap it up.
All right. So let's go ahead and okay. I'm going to just go over some of the things that we have show notes for, so that people know what. So Life is Fetal MMO, they're still doing patches to that every week. This week they had 2 patches. Nick will have to get you as soon as you sober up. We'll get you in there to play some Life is Fetal next week, maybe.
In all seriousness,
if you have time.
You're blowing this. It's just that I'm not going to be in town. I'm going to be up in Raleigh, so I'm not going to have access to. It's not like I'm going to be inebriated for 4 days straight. It's just I'm not going to have a computer to be playing games on.
Okay.
Amnon and I are going to go out on a binge. It's going to be fun.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And then Hurt World had an update that came out this week. Pretty lengthy set of notes. They kind of mix their dev blogs and their patch notes, so there's a lot of extra information in there if you ever want to check it out. Rust, of course, has an update that came out this week. So if you want to catch that video, we just have an issue with our audio not going through correctly, so we're not playing videos this episode. Just Survive came out, and I'll try to check, but supposedly they're putting out patch notes today. They had maintenance early this morning. They did a wipe. Supposedly they're putting out patch notes, and I'll have to check to see if this came out. If so, I'll put them in the notes before we post. And then Survive the Nights. I actually jumped in and ran around a little bit yesterday on it, and they have patch notes they've been doing pretty consistently. The 30th, so that's today at 3:48 p.m. They did a build. On the 28th at 3:29 p.m. they did a build. On January 3rd they did a build. So and they're pretty big patch notes, so they actually have a decent number of things, because they just released into their pre-alpha release. So this is pre-alpha. I don't know how that works. I mean,
stupid.
How's it not just alpha? But I think they're just trying to say, hey, this is really early.
It's so that they can exactly. It's so that they can have a really, really, really crappy product that sucks, that doesn't work whatsoever, and then go, oh yeah, but it's all right, it's alpha, bro, it's pre-alpha. The game should. I'm gonna fix it by alpha. I'm gonna take your money and give you a crappy product that isn't finished, and hide behind the mask. Oh, it's pre-alpha. You should have known what you're getting into. I'm literally gonna sell you something that does not work under the guise.
Now,
it's pre-alpha, bro.
Odd,
don't worry.
One thing that I find odd is because they have like a progress meter on here. Lootable Dead Zombies has 0% progress. That is, how is that not one of the easiest possible things? I mean, honestly, I could create you a lootable dead zombie here over the weekend if we wanted to. That's just, I don't get why that would be their hang up. Like, maybe they just haven't gotten to it yet, but that's like a really easy thing. Indoor grow pots, in-game map that got done. But they have a list here of different things. They're working on game modding utilities, which if anything, that would probably be what keeps their game going over time.
Yep, they're smart.
Is if they can make it robust enough game modding, because that seems to take any game, even if it's not great. People love the fact that they can mod it.
Look at Minecraft. I mean, kind of a bad example. Minecraft, it's vanilla itself is garbage, but you throw a couple plugins and some mods and some texture packs or whatever on it, and it's fun if you want.
I mean, I don't even really care about the graphics so much. Like,
no.
I mean, you want them to a certain point, but it's more of just, it's a unique game.
Yeah.
So anyway, Survive the Nights, they have these patch notes that they put out, and the link that I'm putting is just to their general. It's always updated. So changelog.survivethenights.net if you want to check that out. I'm gonna try to play a little bit more just to see how the looting and just zombies, and just see a little bit. I'm kind of waiting until they get into alpha before I really play it, so I don't get a really bad taste in my mouth for the game and say, all right, I'm not going to ever touch this again. But we'll check in on it every once in a while. So,
well, there you go. All right.
So reminder also, Rust,
yep,
game of the week. So make sure you are there.
Do we have a tip of the week?
Everybody be there. Yes, we do. We're not doing, okay, no current players or anything? Good on that?
No, we'll just blow right past those.
Okay. All right, tip of the week's where I go through and either have a general gaming tip or a specific gaming tip. And this week, because we're going to be playing some Rust, it is on Rust. So this is tip of the week.
And there you go. There's tip of the week. Go ahead.
There we go. All right. Is there no audio? Okay, we don't.
Yeah, Brian, we discussed this before we started.
I expect you to sing. I expect you to.
There you go. I can play the intro. We can just talk over it because there's no audio.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Tip of the week. You can do that. All right. So this week for Rust. So I put in here actually a couple different tips just to help with some of the. Yeah, is everything all right? Is it just going crazy?
Yeah, well, I switched over to your audio and it was incredibly loud. I apologize for headphone users.
Nice. Yeah. So for the people that are just starting, maybe they haven't played before, I want to give a couple tips here. Naked players that you see running around, if you see them with a sash on, or am I saying the right sash? They have touched a weapon. If they don't have a sash, if they're actually truly naked, that means they haven't touched a weapon yet. So you're probably safe to interact with them if you're going to interact, because they're not hiding a weapon somewhere. Where they're hiding it on their naked body, I don't know, but they're not hiding a weapon somewhere and then going to hit you with it. So a sash means that they have either had a weapon or have a weapon. So make sure that you be careful of those people with a sash. Also, when you're sprinting, so let's say you're holding down the shift key and you're sprinting for a little bit. You don't have to hold it down the whole time. So hold it down for a little while, let it sprint, and then you can let go of that sprint key and it'll continue to sprint. You can just keep using your movement keys. Also, when you're smelting, so let's say you get a furnace. The furnaces, they burn all of their slots simultaneously. So unlike, ARK does one stack, right? It does one stack at a time.
Yeah, I believe so.
It is this one. If you spread the stacks out across all the slots, they'll all smelt simultaneously. So just keep in mind, if you're trying to get a lot of metal quickly, that you just need to fill all the slots. Break your stacks apart enough to fill all the slots, and you'll get it the fastest. So those are tips of the week.
All righty.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Brian.
All right, we're going to do this last. The only giveaway.
Yes. What do we got?
All right. So Airborne Death, who is Matt Airborne.
I thought he had that. I guess he doesn't have
it. I don't think he would. He doesn't. I mean, he wouldn't play it. Unless he gets into it, and we'll see. I mean, if he hopefully he likes it. So we'll be playing this Friday.
It's a fun game as long as you're playing with the right people.
Yep. So congratulations, Matt. And I'll send you a link that'll let you redeem that on Steam. So, and I'll get it to you here tonight so that you can get it all downloaded. Because as Nick said, it is a pretty big game.
Yes.
So I wonder if they're going to be shrinking that down as they come out of alpha. I wonder if there's a lot of maybe uncompressed assets, extra assets, just things for development that they have in their project that are not needed, that are really big, or if there's actually that much worth of assets in the game.
It's probably a mixture of both. Even if they removed old assets, I wouldn't imagine it would change it dramatically. It may be a little bit smaller. I mean, you look at ARK. ARK is they could finished, and it's still probably 35 gigabytes. The DLCs are 20 gigs a piece.
I mean, that's the thing is as you go to having high quality, detailed assets.
Yeah.
Like you can only shrink those down so much. It's not like Minecraft where you can have a Java game that's 20 megabytes.
Yeah, I mean the entire game is just a single PNG and it just wraps images. That just doesn't work. I mean, I'm dealing with this right now. I've got 70 gigs free on my second hard drive, so I've got to now do another update, which I hate doing. It's the biggest pain in the ass.
We finally got Lance to buy a hard drive. Lance is always complaining to me about
deleting.
He's got like 10 megabytes open on his SSDs, and he's always trying to shift stuff around and delete stuff.
Yeah, I was there.
He finally got a 1 terabyte regular hard drive. Just to put stuff on. I
need to get a 2 terabyte one now. I did my SSD upgrade a couple probably about 6 months ago. Updated from a 120 to a 256, and now I've got my 1 terabyte drive, which needs to be 2 terabytes. So we'll do that, and I'm almost out of room on I've only got 24 gigs left on my SSD, but which I'll just have to make room.
That's what I thought about, is just getting an extra drive that's not in my RAID, just for stuff that I don't really care about. That just to give me all that extra storage.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
So, even if I have games on there, it's not like I'm going to lose anything if games get deleted.
Absolutely not. So there it is. Well, unfortunately, we are gonna have to cut it short tonight. I've got a work obligation I've got to deal with, and it's so funny. How many technical issues have we had doing this show? But we've done 159 episodes. We've had maybe 5 like real technical issues during a show.
Those things where we had to start late or
like maybe 5, maybe a lot, maybe like 3 or 4. And the one night that we've got to cut the program short, I've got a hard break. It all hits the fan. So, unfortunately, I do my best. I need to use this.
But we got an episode out. I was concerned. I was like, uh-oh, we're going to skip a week for the first time.
Yeah, and that would have sucked, but at least it would have been under legitimate circumstances. Not, I'm sorry, man, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother. So, luckily, we're here as we try to be around 7 o'clock
each and every week.
Well, we're here each and every week. The question is, what time are we here? We are here each and every week, 7 p.m. Eastern on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/infection podcast is the link for that. Brian, where can people find you on the net?
Yep. You want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter. Of course, go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. As I said, go to our website, check out infectionpodcast.com. We're going to have a page on there soon that will have different links. And we're working on getting a static IP for our server so that that's all set and it'll never change and we don't have to keep updating that. But we're going to have a link there that shows all our different servers, ways to connect to it, and stats for it. Also on there, make sure you go and support our YouTube channel. So perhaps you listen to the audio only version. Go follow our YouTube channel. Go just wherever. If you want to support the show, that's one way you can help is go and either leave a review or share it, or go and like it or subscribe to it or whatever platform that you're on, just showing support for the show. So that helps us out very much. So thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. And Brian, thank you for putting up with the little delay today and sticking with the program. Appreciate it as always. If you can give me real quick, I need like a minute. So how's your shoulder? How's your arm? How you feeling?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I actually start physical therapy tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a good test. I think that's, people say once you get into physical therapy, like your improvements start becoming pretty drastic.
Well,
so
awesome.
I've been doing the little exercises every day that we do. And
replacing pipes.
But there's still, yeah. So that'd be more of an after show.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. I thought it'd bring it up. But
yeah. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, anyway, so so we will be going to that tomorrow. I can't drive, which is kind of frustrating.
No, that sucks.
I can get an impaired driving ticket if I get pulled over.
That would,
impaired driving could be a pretty serious thing. Like that.
I mean, that's it. Impaired driving is impaired driving.
It's like saying it's like saying you're high or
under the influence.
A lot of different things. So
like a DUI.
Yeah, so I'd rather not have a ticket that says impaired driving just because I'm driving around with a sling on one arm.
Huh. That's interesting.
So.
Well, of course.
So I've been staying home a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. You got plenty of stuff to do. Play video games, chat on Discord. Fun stuff.
Yep. Hopefully, we can get you into COD soon.
Yeah, it's all set up. I set up my PlayStation. It's set up in the background, so it's ready to go. We'll
tonight.
No, not tonight. I've got to work. Tomorrow? I've got work from 9 till 11. So maybe after 11. Okay. But I've got some work I got to deal with. So maybe new COD DLC is out. I'm cutting it so close. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for another episode of Infection, the Survive Podcast. This is episode 159. It's going to be great. I'll be 21, episode 160. Maybe we'll have a couple drinks during the episode. It'll be great. Audio issues, I won't even know. Who cares?
Tip over halfway, he'll fall over.
I'll just be like, oh, the audio's not working. Oh, yeah. Who cares?
We're slurring my microphone.
Can't hear myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. We will see you next week at 7 for another episode of Infection. Have a great week, everybody.